Hey,
Hi, Maria. Hi, Dominician. We are actually here to embark on a subject called Law of Attraction and Energy Management. This subject initially came from Dominician, who wanted to travel in a little bit of take a journey down the road where we can uncover the understanding of the soul, the physical body, and how everything is connected, and how the law of attraction plays the role in our energy management and how everything plays out where it kind of helps us truly understand how to navigate life pretty much, which is what we all are here to continually learn and continually teach. And we have been meaning to have this gathering for a while, and finally our time converged where we were able to create this quantum collapse that we can actually have this conversation. So I'm very excited here, of course, with Maria, who is a research scientist. She's basically someone who looks at the blood under the microscope more than anybody I know of. And then she's the CEO of Abeytu Natural. And then Dominician, he actually comes with a very interesting background, being the author and also being the gold medalist from Jiu-Jitsu, and at the same time a man of integrity who wanted to follow his soul rather than following somebody else's agenda, which was Hollywood, which is a pretty major thing that you did. But that is the best way you can show up for yourself, because you want to be able to sleep at night and feel good about your conscience. So I feel very honored that I am in the company of amazing research scientists as myself. And even Domination is all about research. So we're just going to have some fun, and I'm going to open the floor. So go ahead, Domination, and chime in.
sure, sure. Well, I think one thing which is very important is truth, and I guess that's something I'd like to really unpack today with both of you, are wonderful women. So, truth, and obviously how the soul, how truth, and how that the physical body, it all blends together. So, I understand what that means to me, and having done what I've done over the last few years in Hollywood and turning them down, and I'd love to see and love to hear your thoughts on how all those three things tie in and what it means to do that and be that in today's world.
Mm.
Okay, Maria, do you want to go
Yeah,
first?
I'll just riff on that for a second. It's not easy. In, for instance, in my line of work, I was told even a couple of years ago, just as early as a couple of years ago, I have a team that I work with that works with me. And as far as truth is concerned, and integrity, it is very difficult well, I shouldn't say difficult, but it's difficult in the public arena to stand in your truth, to be able to attract like energies, because the subject matter that's going on today is it's sensitive, it's manipulated. The truth is very manipulated, so most of what we get are lies and um, fake stories and things of that, nothing to do with truth. So if you are standing up against that and you are a business owner, or you have a movie, or Shehnaz, you work within a particular organization that is a corporate type of a organization, anything that you do or say when you're standing in your truth is going to come with a lot of pushback. And I've had that for years, even from people that I know and trust, who think that maybe I should put the almighty dollar or success or revenue in front of what I believe, to be more important, which is people, principles, doing the right thing in the face of adversity, even though it might hurt you in the short term. It's difficult. So, in today's world, I thought, gosh, when all of this garbage started, I thought, I'll try not to ramble for too long, but it, I have been very focused on trying to make sure that I'm attracting like energies and protective of my inner circle. So what I would tell my team is, guess what? You're either here or you're not on board, and this is antagonistic energy within this circle, so you can't be here. I can't hear this. I won't listen to this. That makes me, you know, a bull, you know, because I'll battle this storm by myself, because it's more important to me to be energetically surrounded with like energies, right? And people that will help advance this forward and support the truth, and not necessarily like an agenda, but the truth. So, I mean, it has not been easy, but I know exactly what you're saying, Dominician, because you had to do the same thing. Shehnaz, I know you have had to do that many times in your lifetime. So does that, I know that was a lot, but it's not been easy the past couple of years, because you have to do the right thing, even whenever it is inconvenient.
Yeah, it's never easy. So Dominician, for my sake, tell me the 3 words again that you wanted us to converge in this conversation. What were those 3 words?
Yeah, sure. So the 3 words were the soul, the physical body, and truth, and how those 3 elements tie in. And just before we delve into that, Maria, your words comfort me, because I had a tremendous struggle with being that bull for that time and being strong enough to be able to do that. It's very confronting. So your words comfort me.
Not easy.
So physical body, soul, and the truth. To me, it's kind of interesting because it's all encompassing us, right? So our feeling is a very good gauge for us to know whether we're showing up for ourselves, right? Which is like, if you have a certain core principle, you follow integrity, you know in your conscious whether you're feeling good with yourself or not. And that's something that only you know. Nobody can tell, nobody knows. And to me, actions speak louder than words. So when you really want to gauge other people, they're showing you every single time how they're showing up for themselves, how they're showing up for you. And I think that those 2 things are very important to me to gauge. And for me, like, I'm really raw that way. And I have no problem being vulnerable. I have no problem following that light, because that's why when I wrote this book, The Quantum Being, which is now available, Dominician. And so the whole thing is that it's important for me to know that, you know, we come naked. We are gonna die naked. I mean, we are pretty much it, whether all the things you collect in your life, your, you know, wealth or your status or your house or whatever, everything disappears. Ultimately, it's just you, raw you. And as long as you're good with yourself and solid with yourself, that to me is the best gift you can give it to yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's how I operate on. And I feel like that's all I have. And I'm good with that, because at the end of the day, I can lose my job just because I'm following my truth. I can lose my friend because I'm following my truth. But I'm okay with that. I'd rather live by myself with my truth than with a whole bunch of people whom I have to not be clear in my consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very, very good to hear. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and do you find that, you know, to the both of you, do you find that you are met, and this is for other people as well, because, you know, like Dominician said, it is very difficult to be that bull and to make that decision and literally go against the grain, make the inconvenient choice, even though you know that at least short term, it's probably not going to benefit you. It is really hard, you know, to have that crystal ball and try to look into the future and say, okay, this might absolutely screw up everything that I've worked for, you know, my entire life. It's so hard to walk away. But this is to the both of you. Do you feel like, you know, having made these types of decisions, and staying true to yourself and integrity, do you feel like this is beneficial to your soul and your physical body, eventually? I mean, have you had that experience where everything comes back around and it's come full circle and you look back and say, so this was the universe's plan for me? And this, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely know. And I'm going to let Dominician answer the question first, and then I'll go. So go ahead.
Okay.
I was hoping you were going to answer that question first.
Okay, I will go first.
I really want to hear what you have to say. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. So in 2019, my ass got kicked really bad, right? I had a physical challenge where even the way I got the disease, I had a shingle in my inner eardrum. And the way I got the disease was almost like I wasn't listening to my, like, when you put somebody else on pedestal, what happens? And then you also violate your own rights. And you're doing that because we all tend to do that. I had done exactly that. And then I end up getting excruciating pain on my right ear. And then ultimately it leads to going through like extremely horrible journey from that point on, a 6-month journey where I was hospitalized. It took them long to diagnose. I lost my hearing. I lost my balance. I couldn't walk or drive, all of that. And I was in excruciating trigeminal and neuralgia pain. The thing about that whole journey was it was such an experience. It was one of the most challenging experience for me, even though I've gone through every single disease one can name it. Like, especially you live in Brazil, Dominician, and every time when I'm traveling those type of country, there's a long list of diseases that they say that don't, like you're going to have to be worrying about that. I have already gotten them. Third world country, Pakistan. So wow. I have experienced health challenges, but this was one of the worst one. And I can tell you that while I was going through that, I was like, my God, like, I know I want to be a healer, but it doesn't mean I have to go through every single damn experience. So I was talking to my guys. I'm like, what the hell, man? And I had a lot of that, like, come to Jesus moments. The good thing about all of that is it really, like, coming out of it, right? Like, coming out of it really made me, and now today I'm sitting 3 years after, I feel like, wow. I mean, that really made me even stronger than I could have ever been. But it takes a while, Maria, and that's the challenge, right? That you can't give up while you're in transition. And that's the message for everyone who's listening here, is that it sucks, it's sticky, it's yucky. There are times you just want to die. Like, there were so many times I was like, the pain was so much that I said that, I don't want to live like this. Please either let me go or make it better, because this is not where I want to stay. And yeah, it's hard. It's a hard journey.
And it can be emotional. It can be financial. It can be, honestly, this is for the audience. Like, I can guarantee you that we have all three gone through some financial horror, just having to, and Shehnaz, just like you said in your book, there's been a couple of different times where you decided this marriage wasn't for me. I did the same thing. And, trying to raise children by yourself, this isn't easy. Dominician, you walked away from the sure thing, right when it was ready to be launched and put right in front of you. It is, this is for the audience. Like I said, it is not easy to make the right decision for you, but you have to try to stay in alignment with yourself. Not always take the easy road, because that easy road is easy for a reason.
Very much so.
Right?
Very much so. Yeah.
So Dominician, now it's your turn to shed light.
Sure. Well, I'm listening to what you're both saying, and Shehnaz, I like how you mention, and it's so important for people to understand this, the physical side. So the soul impinging on the physical side. When you're in trauma, spiritually, or consciously, your body will take the hit, and that is usually the first indicator. Everything that has happened to me along this journey has been the body taking, the first point of call is the body taking a big hit. And I ended up in an emergency room in late 2017, a fit, robust, strong, high-level jiu-jitsu guy in an emergency room. Why the heck was I in an emergency room? And I did all the tests. I did all the, they pump the dye through your veins to check how your heart's going. And God bless the young fellow that gave me the report. He said, mate, get out of here. He said, you have a heart of a 25-year-old. There's nothing wrong, zero calcifications. Get out, you're wasting my time. But that was the soul hitting the body saying, hey, you're not doing the right thing. I'm going to keep doing this to you until you stop. So that was a huge wake-up call for me. And it took about 18 months for me to realize that. I know that may sound terrible. However,
it's real and it's true.
It's real. Yeah.
I've experienced that. I mean, I don't have a sack around my heart anymore, I mean, it took not just a 2x4, right? I mean, I got a whole forest launched at me before I woke up. So yeah, I completely resonate with what you said. With the fact that it was the soul knocking on the door saying, something something's not right here, and it's time. It's time. I've had it, right? Whether it be the stress from pursuing something, or your internal conflict with having made a decision that maybe you weren't completely positive about. It all compounds. And Shehnaz, you know that, right? From our physical, from just our the way our DNA holds memory.
Exactly.
Right? And emotions. I mean, I had that conversation with someone this morning about, you know, what happens when their heart finally takes over their mind.
Yeah. And that is interesting. And then, so Maria, what you were touching on, and Dominician, I wanted to actually give you a kudo for realizing it, because, you know, time truly is an illusion. So it doesn't matter when you come to that understanding. Just like in my case, it took me 3 years to connect the dot while I was explaining my story to another person. It kind of was like a light bulb moment when I realized that I was self-sabotaging myself by putting somebody on pedestal that didn't truly deserve it. Nobody deserves to be on pedestal. That is just the fact of life. When we do that, we violate our own rights. And it dawned on me after 3 years of going through that journey. So that does not matter how long it takes us to realize that what experience came to us as part of law of attraction, that we created for us to learn a lesson. But once we learn that lesson, that's when you seal the deal. That's when you really come the full circle. And that's when you truly appreciate the lesson, because you say, wow, that was the main reason I got my ass kicked. So no, it's all very, very good. And Maria, like the layer, I just wanted to say that, is that, of course, you know, we have our physical layer, which is like the densest layer. On top of that is emotional, and then mental, and then spiritual. And, you know, of course, it's a 7th plane when you go into Kabbalistic journey of understanding our layers. But that is very true that we store information in our DNA, but we also access information because our DNA is an antenna in the morphogenetic field, right? So depending on where we are, we access that information, which is why sometimes we get into that vicious cycle of self-fulfilling prophecy. And we are like, it's because we're constantly going to that feedback loop. And that's why misery loves company, right? So all of that scientifically makes sense. So no, that is pretty amazing. So I'm going to ask a question, since we're taking turns, to both of you. And my question is all about, like, it's going to be a very different angle for Maria versus Dominician. So Maria, I look at you as somebody who's very athletic, and therefore you understand your physical body from that standpoint. Dominician, you are like gold medalist, so you understand from the martial arts standpoint. And my question is that, you know, when you're in that type of, you know, frequency and vibration, understand the concept of managing energy, being both of you have pushed your body physically more than average people. My question is that, how do you interact with yourself when you feel that you are being compromised by energy vampires?
Maria, go ahead.
You turkey. Okay. So this happens to me every other day. And I allow it to a certain extent. It's nice because people will be very respectful of my time. But that's difficult because I always say yes. Right. I mean, I'm very much a yes person, because I know that I can figure something out and find a solution for someone who needs my help, or who's in pain, or who, you know what I mean? Those types of things. So I'm very much a yes person. To me, that it's not like an energy vampire. It's just that I'm one person. And it's, you know, it might be something concerning health, or it might be something concerning politics, right? Or something that I don't care anything about, but I will say yes, because I know that ultimately this will lead to a good thing for the collective, right? So we have to fight, we have to, you know, maneuver. And, you know, some things I say yes to, it's not even my favorite thing, and I don't want to give it my time. And I don't want to give it my energy. But to me, those types of situations are like energy suckers, you know, because because it's not going to help me. But then I look at it like it's going to help the collective, because I can be a very influential voice, and I can be convincing. I demonstrate heart and passion with pretty much everything I say and do. So then, and then I actually get mad at myself sometimes, because, you know, I think, okay, you didn't have time to go there, and you don't have time to attend this. And it's not even something that you like. So what are you doing? You know, so you're going to do this to make other people happy. And so sometimes, you know, I'm in this, like this inner, just kind of a tug of war. Right. But as far as like an individual person, I don't allow the big time energy vampires that I used to around me in my circle. I don't. I had a couple of really bad ones, and honestly, Shehnaz, you know, one of them would leave my office, and I would avoid this human, because it wasn't that she wasn't a nice human. It was that she absolutely sucked the life out of everything that she came around, because she talked in circles, and she made no sense, and she got nowhere fast, and there was never a solution to anything. It was always a crazy merry-go-round, right? And I didn't handle that well, and that's, you know, and I actually got very physically ill around that person.
Well, that makes sense, and I think that it's good that you have this inner like, you know, you are telling yourself, right, when you're doing people pleasing. By the way, I love the fact that you're very responsive to me, so I appreciate that. But at the same token, of course, I would say that it's important, right, that because you want to have a quality relationship, is that the one that is not really aligning with you or exciting you, because, you know, we are human beings, and we do have limited energy in a way, right? Even though law of conservation of energy says that energy is unlimited, but at a time, you know, what we carry within ourselves is limited. So we have to be honorable and listening to ourselves, right? And so what I would say that in your case, it's okay for you to not necessarily say yes to everything, especially the one that doesn't excite you, because you're being honest to you and you're honest to the person. And it's not something that they should take it personally, but at the end of the day, we got to choose where we're going to put our focus in.
Right.
So, okay. Thank you, by the way. So Dominician, what's your take on that?
Yeah, Maria, that's beautiful to hear, especially when you're talking about how you're giving so much to people. And from what I've experienced is, when my personal ethics started to climb up and get higher and higher and higher, I noticed that a lot of the time I was pushing through these people, and I was just like a shield. I was just going, they were coming at me and they were deflecting off my shield the higher I went. So I noticed a little bit of a correlation with ethics. And I'm not saying ethics is in, it's more a personal ethics, like an ethics on yourself, doing the right thing for you, and making sure that when you do the right thing for you, in effect, you're doing the right thing for them as well. So you're being responsible for yourself and them. And I've been such a lone wolf the last few years, because it's a way of dealing with people and not having to have these people around me, because I understand that I'm a yes man to Maria, Shehnaz. I'm a yes man. You ask me to do anything, I will do it for you. I don't want money. I just want to be there to support you. But you're good women. You're good humans. Other people are not. There's a lot of people that are not good humans and not good people. So you can't do that with everyone. So I decided to go on a lot of the journey just on my own, and look outside, and just to see who was coming into me and what was being thrown at me. That was very eye-opening. And now I think I'm at that point now. I don't think I know. I'm at that point now where I can start letting a few people in and start creating on that level. And then the moment something happens, it's just truth in the moment. You know, Sasha Stone talks about right action in the moment. It's truth in the moment, and it can upset people. It can make people very uncomfortable. But that's where the truth gets delivered, and it gets delivered on a silver platter and with a smile.
Right, so right.
That's how I
have. It's funny when you are honest, and you explain your position. It's funny how at least my former self, I used to fear someone's reaction, and not necessarily fear it, but I just, you know, you just want everybody to be happy. Okay.
Yeah.
Can everybody just be happy? Just come to work and just be happy. Like, how hard is it just to be happy? Right.
Exactly.
But it's just funny how just people just are not genuinely like that. You know, I remember times where I would go in and which personality am I going to run into with which person? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and I mean, and you know, you have to have those conversations where you're like, can you just fake it to make it then? Because, you know, you're literally, your energy is everywhere. And when they talk about cancers in the room, you know, this person is a cancer, or that person can't, I mean, literally that's energy, and it's real and it's true. And it sucks the life out of a group, out of a physical area. I mean, oh my goodness. It's just nice to be on the other side now. Now I work on, you know, not being such a yes person all the time. But then again, isn't that what the law of attraction is all about? You know, can we expect that to come back to us? And I've had it happen where absolutely not. I mean, I've been shit all over. I've given everything that I could, you know, to someone or a situation, and had it absolutely not reciprocated.
Exactly. So that's your gauge right there, that person was not, you know, that's sort of what the terminology. Energy vampire comes from that, by the way, where the reciprocity is not equal. And the interesting thing is, in my book, there's a chapter 6, it's called Mirror, Mirror, right? It's all about, because everybody is showing the mirror to you, right? Everybody's reflecting the part of you. So when you want to act like a victim, then the mirror that you're going to attract is going to be an asshole, because you need to understand whether you want to stay in the victim frequency, you see? So it's kind of a very interesting situation. So law of attraction truly works based on that principle. It's not one of those where we watch in the fairy tale that, you know, the Cinderella is, you know, Cinderella is poor, and then here's the prince comes and saves the day. In real life, it doesn't work that way. Like, I mean, my God, that would be amazing, right? But it doesn't work like that. So if somebody's being mean to you and you're hoping that somehow, you know, magically something will happen and it will all be disappearing, it disappears only when you work within yourself to affect your law of attraction. So that's where the inner work and the inner journey and that soul journey comes into play the role. So that's why the life we have here is not easy. It's
so I know, Shehnaz, where your thoughts and future and all of that are. I know it's important to have the successful launch of the book, and you know, it's important for you to put yourself in a, you know, a specific position. So I know that because you and I have dialogue. I want to know, I'm super curious because I haven't had a chance to talk to Dominician for a few weeks. And the last time that we left off, I said to you, it's not going to be long before this becomes a movie. And this is what I see for you. And I've seen this. I just know that this is actually the way that this is going to go, because it's going to be such an important thing for people to have, because a lot of people aren't going to read necessarily. They like, you know, going to the movies and things like that. I want to know how you're attracting that, how that manifestation is going, because I haven't had an opportunity to check in with you to see how it's going.
Great question. Very good question.
I'm going to stick you to it there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll give you an analogy, which is sort of martial arts based and jujitsu based. So in jujitsu, it's a grappling art form. You're on the floor. You have a person's body weight on top of you. You have to escape. You have to, you know, get the dominant position. You have to fight your way out of the bad places. So at the moment, I parallel my experience in this journey. I'm in the bad situation at the moment. So I'm on the ground. I'm on my back. I'm pinned. And I have to work out ways to you know, mitigate that strength on top of me, and you know, just be able to separate my diaphragm away from the person's body so I can breathe. So the first step is just, when you're taking such a big swing at the establishment, you have to understand, Maria, Shehnaz, my existence, people hate my existence to a certain degree. Some people, they just hate it. And they're not even evil people. They just don't like what I'm talking about. And some of the reviews have been so scathing. It's laughable, because it's like, okay, that's fair enough if you want to go down that road. However, when you're trying to create something, and especially in a system and an ecosystem which is so perverted and so wrong, you're going to be pushed back a lot. So at the moment, what I'm finding is, just being able to be who I am and let people know what my message is. That's the first part. So I just need to breathe now. Okay, I've come charging through the gates. I'm against Hollywood. I'm against the establishment. I'm against all the perverted ideologies in which our children are watching these shows, and it's being programmed into them. It's so vicious. That's just the first part. So I believe I'm still coming through the gates with that. And I believe what Shehnaz was saying as well earlier, how you are going to start, when your ethics come up, you're going to start attracting that new earth, and that you'll be worthy of it then. So I'm coming through, and I'm working with a few people, nothing yet, but I believe that things will start changing. I don't know what the timeline will be, but I'm assuming it's on its way at the very least. So
100%.
that's where I'm at.
I love the analogy, because Shehnaz and I are in probably almost exactly the same position, probably, where, there's just a lot going on, and you're not sure. I mean, my husband came home the other day, and he said, and I had this great, fantastic news. I have to tell you guys this story really quick, because this is talking about the law of attraction, and, things that happen, and you look at it like, wow. I mean, the universe is this incredible, mystical thing. I have you guys both know, I carry a portable EMF device. I carry this blue shield with me everywhere I go. And I'm very anal about making sure that, I'm always protected, because EMF hits me, my heart, I inflame, and I can feel the nerves, and it's this whole event. So I avoid it because it hurts like hell. And that's one of my triggers. Well, Blue Shield, this company, does such a good job. And I was trying to help somebody once again. And, they're like, I don't know anything about this. Can you help me? And, oh my gosh, how did you get my number? I mean, so many people have my cell phone number. I'm like, how did you get my number? But okay, let me go to this site. I will grab the Epstein-Barr article, because I read and research like crazy. And this 5 excites an Epstein-Barr viral reaction in people, as well as E. coli. It excites E. coli. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different effects that these things have on microbes, parasites, your body's cells at the cellular level, your blood, the way it looks under the microscope, the whole 9 yards. I promise I'm getting somewhere. But so I go to the site, and I'm looking for specifically an article that they wrote on Epstein-Barr, and that's not what I found. I found it, but in the interim, I found another article that they had, and it was somebody who said, hey, if you have an EMF injury, or anything like that, then, contact this person. And I thought, well, I'm a very interesting case, and I might be able to help somebody, because of pericarditis, or because of, what I've been through. So I'm going to just quick email this person. And I literally did it in 15 seconds and said, this is me. I don't have this. I have this. And I know I can timestamp exactly when all these things happen. So if you're curious for your research, I'm your gal. I mean, I can certainly, and the other thing, Shehnaz, I said, I'm getting ready to potentially purchase this PEMF device that, works with frequency. And I don't have a sacral on my heart. So I'm wondering, do you have any experience with this? Is this therapy okay for someone like me? So I was curious about that, right? She wrote me back and said, let's, I have time, X, Y, and Z, whatever. And I took the earliest time. And I thought, I'm really busy. And all this stems from me trying to help somebody, figure out what's their Epstein-Barr reaction, mononucleosis, that their kid had mono. And I'm like, oh, well, do this and here's some research for this. As it turned out, within just a day, and this is just very recently, law of attraction and energy, I've been introduced to multiple professionals, and these professionals are going to actually help publish my work with my company. The work that I've done, they're actually going to, because I can't do that myself, because of our evil, corrupt three-letter agencies. I'd like to call them three-legged somethings, but I can't do that. So they're actually going to pair my formulation with their frequency devices, because they know, based on what I had shown them, exactly what's going to happen, and do the research and the testing and all of that for me, and then publish the work. And then I actually get to participate, where I will get to have my own, maybe a 1600x powered microscope instead of just my 1000 research scope. And all of this came about because I was trying to help somebody else, and I happened to see something. And how the law of attraction works in the universe works is, if I was meant to see it at that time. She had time for me at that time. She doesn't even respond to all of her emails, guys. It was once in a blue moon, because there's so many things that come through. And this is how this happened. So,
yeah,
I mean, I feel like Dominician, like my husband had said before I gave him that news, he said, I prayed for you today because you do so many things for so many people. And I'm just wondering, I'm like, here, universe, when are you going to give my wife a break? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
when is this going to happen for her? And then I gave him that news. So it's just wild.
So it's
right?
not, so it's basically called following your excitement, right? So basically, I'm just going to name the movie Erin Rock. Erin Rock, which is a movie that shows how the girl was, wanting to follow the, like you can say that like a rabbit hole, right? Like, but it's the rabbit hole that you're led to. And there are times you do certain things that you don't even know why you're doing it. But then when the whole circle that you took and it come back to you, because you were just following your excitement, you were following your curiosity, you were following the way you are, and it led you to that outcome. And that is what I say, that, when people say that like life is not fair, like reciprocity sometimes doesn't come from the same people. But that doesn't mean that life is not fair. Ultimately, what goes around comes around. Like, I really believe in that. And I see that in my life. And it may not be the same people. And that's okay, because that does not matter. But at the end of the day, you're going to get rewarded for all your hard work, for all your integrity, for you sticking on your principle, Dominician, like you said, that it is like, and I love your analogy of using your Jinjitsu, because that is the thing, that you've learned this art physically, how to handle somebody physically, and you apply that pretty much. How do you handle them emotionally? How do you handle them spiritually, right? How do you handle them mentally? Because the same principle can be applied. And that's why I appreciate when people have certain knowledge, especially like a knowledge of martial art or anything like that, just because I would love to have that knowledge. If you would have been in my neck of the neighborhood, I would have said, please, can you just take me in your, like, I want to be a student. I want to learn it.
What a spiritually advanced point of view that you have about that, right? To be able to look on the outside, that you're in a struggle, and you know that all you have to do is take that next breath, and you're going to come out up on top. I mean, that is a very spiritually mature journey that you're on, right?
Yeah, it indeed is. And I can tell you, when you're on that, when you're on the bottom and you've got that 120 kilogram guy, 190 pound or 200-pound person on you, you're in hell. You feel like you're actually physically going to die because you can't breathe. And it's not like boxing. Boxing, you get hit, you get knocked out, that's it, you're done.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is a slow death. You're awake, you're conscious, and you have to fight. And I think, enough of the martial arts analogies, but that's the last one for today. But I believe that's what you're going through when you're coming through that. And I want people to understand that it gets pretty rough. So hang in there. It's not doom and gloom. And usually if you hold on long enough, you'll pop out the other side and oh, it's not so bad around here, you know? So
Yeah.
there you go.
What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. I mean, everybody hates hearing that because, you know, when you're in it, you don't give a shit. You're like, what? I'm done with these lessons. You know, my husband has said that himself. He's like, you know, I think I'm over these lessons. Are we done yet?
I know. It's like there are times it's truly that. But I also want to give you guys another tip that I had used, and all of you guys can use it. And even Dominician, you can use it for your while you are in that space. Is that our imagination does affect our material manifestation, okay? Because I kind of teach that in my spirituality. So in my case, when I was dealing with the fact that I'm completely by myself, I'm in excruciating pain, I have no help, and I'm so much in pain that even going to the bathroom was painful for me, and I was living that in 2019. I basically called my avatar, right? My avatar was me, but she was 100% healthy. She was very happy. She was like ready to rock and roll, opposite of me, but it was me. And what I did was I imagined her to be the person who was taking care of me. And I would basically, she's the one who would get me up of the bed. She would say that, you know, this is all temporary. You're going to ultimately be on the same side I am. But right now, it's almost like it was an interesting thing that I created, and it really helped me, you know, like day by day, because I knew I can call on her anytime. So I think that was my way of coping. And I'm just giving that secret away to you guys, because why not? I mean, you can call whomever you want. You can even call somebody you love. It doesn't have to be your avatar. But because we do have a power of imagination, why would we not use it for ourselves?
Right. Instead of against ourselves. And that's what, you know, emotional baggage and history does, is it prevents us from thinking about doing it that way. I mean, we can use the energy for our benefit. Absolutely.
Exactly. That's called energy management, right?
I mean,
there are so many ways to manage energy, like so many interesting ways.
So Dominician, then you have, I don't think you have much longer to go before you are breathing and come out on the other side and understand. And we all know this. I mean, I got hit by my own, you know, licensing agency, and, you know, because I went up against them about all this garbage. And, you know, what you're saying is that you're supporting something that isn't true. Your testing is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. You're not even testing anything that truly exists. So I don't even know what you're testing. You're testing garbage, right? So, I mean, and you went up against, you know, people that probably the worst of the worst, because, you know, the cabal is deeply entrenched, and they don't like people who dissent, defect, you know, who won't go along with the game. And so you're going up against the mightiest of the mighty. Like, you know, what I went up against is just like some ancillary, you know, robots that follow the leader. You're going up against the leader. So of course they're going to bot you, right? I mean, of course these things are going to happen. It was good enough for Hollywood, but all of a sudden it's not, you know, good enough for a generalistic reader. I mean, take that with a grain of salt, because it's probably not true. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know that you're more than emotionally mature enough to know that and understand that. It's just sad that people will do that and carry the torch for something evil, you know, just for no reason. They have no feelings about it, and they don't care. They don't have any self-worth, and there's no integrity, and they just don't care. And that's too bad, but that's not us, right?
I also wanted to add, Dominician and even Maria, and for all of us, is that as we're building these type of connection, right, we all have a connection of our own. And the thing is, when you are standing up on truth, and I know it looks like that majority of the people are following a different narrative, but that doesn't matter, because the stronger the challenge is, the stronger your circle of friend is and circle of association is. So I actually know somebody whom I may introduce you to, Dominician, that would help you, because she just knows people in high places, because she work with George Lucas, and she's completely somebody that I trust. So the point is that we're going to start helping each other, right? Now we have created this triangle, all three of us. So if there's something I can do for you, I will do it in a heartbeat. And I'm sure you guys will do the same. So we need to leverage off of our friendship and help each other. And that's how we build community.
That's right.
I love that because I come, our family came to this country. As you can tell, Shehnaz, I am not the typical Australian. I'm not blonde hair, blue eyed. I'm not tall blonde hair, blue eyed. I have dark features, European, Italian background. So when my family came here, they did that. They set up their own shops. They set up their own panel beaters, their own butchers, and we worked together and we brought each other up together. So
I love that.
this feels very wholesome for me, and I just want you girls to know I'm 100%, here for you, both of you,
I
always.
love that.
So,
and all three of us are outlier. I mean, look at us. Like I'm here. I'm from Pakistan, right? I dealt with so much shit over there. Then I come to America. So yeah, I'm, an immigrant. I was explaining that to my boys who takes everything for granted sometimes. And I'm like, you know what? It's very hard life, right? When you don't belong, but you migrate and then you create your life. And same with Maria, she's like, so it's kind of interesting that the outlier, like us, we can truly leverage with our power because we had a harder life. I mean, for me, every time when I go to the airport, every single time they make me check my bag, to check everything about me. And then I usually ask them, I say, why are you doing that? I had to confront, and they say, oh, this is just a random check. And I'm looking around. I mean, no offense, but everybody's white. Every single person is white at the airport. I'm the only one. I'm like, how random can it be? Why did you have to select me? Does it say on my face that come hit me? I mean, it's just like that, right?
Yeah, I look like a Mexican cartel runner on my passport, so I get flagged all the time. They're like, sir, you go to the right. And I'm like, exactly. I haven't got any drugs.
I know. It's interesting how that is, right? So yeah, I think it just makes it makes it stronger because we just had to go through more adversity. For me, like even with my name and my last name, every time I would call 911, they would spend so much time trying to get my spelling. And I would tell them that, you know what? In the process of me giving me my spelling, my child will die. So can you please come here and I'll give you everything you need in person. Yeah. Like I had to really force them to do their job right.
Yeah, no, it's true. And frequently things like that don't make any sense whatsoever. It's just a bureaucracy, that we have to play in for a little while longer and hopefully not forever. I mean, not forever. We're having that conversation earlier, Dominician, before you came on, and I'm like, it is so hard to operate, in a three-dimensional existence where you can't shake hands. You have to have contractual agreements. You can't trust people. It absolutely sucks. The laws are supposed to be there to protect you, but at the same time, it shouldn't have to be that way. That where we can't count on another human being. I wish that karma was stronger. And I wish that karma was the law of the land, that people, were guided by instead of, this litigious society, because it just mucks things up. Whereas we could self-govern if we were at such a high frequency where, nobody did bad, everything was truth, because, karma, the karmic law was so intense and strong and immediate that everybody would just be a kind, wonderful, truthful person.
Yeah, so we're going to create that, Maria. That's what we are all working towards in our own way, right? We're going to avail our gifts and create that. And one of the way to do that, because I always see supply versus demand, right? So like the thing is that when everybody has bought off a certain narrative because they truly think that there isn't anything else, right? So how do we help people raise awareness? Is by showing them another example, right? So we show them another example through your movie, War of Ascension, through your book, which will become a movie. It seems like it based on what Maria is saying. And then, like through your tinctures that you're telling people that, no matter how damaged your DNA is, there's a solution. through my
Mm.
book, The Quantum Being, where I'm saying no matter where you are, you can be more powerful than where you are. Because if I could do what I have done in my life, everyone can do it, because we all have that power within us. So I think that that's where we are going to have to focus our energy on, creating the new narrative that people who are awake or people who are kind of in between wondering what to do, they can all see another example, and then they can choose. We are not imposing anything on anyone. You choose with your emotion and your feeling and wherever your core principle is, whether it's something for you or if it's not. It doesn't matter. But I think that we are going there, and we just have to continue on that. And doing these type of gathering we just did, we can reinforce these messages strongly to people that we are ready. We are doing our part, whatever part that is, no matter how hard it is. Domination, like you said, that you're just trying to breathe before you can truly do something to protect yourself from this atrocities, right?
Yeah, no, that's very, very well said. Very well said. Maria, I know that, with you're right, with your tinctures and with what you're doing as well, this is so important, and people must understand that it's not easy to be on planet Earth in 2022. It's difficult with the money system, it's hard. And some days I sit down, Shehnaz and Maria, and I think, where the hell am I? You know, you know what I mean? Why did I come here? But yeah, of course, there are higher forces at play there. So very, very well said.
Yes, 100%. So in the process of wrapping this up, I'm going to give each one of us an opportunity to kind of sum it up everything. So let's start with Maria first.
Okay. So I think sort of tag teaming on what you said earlier, I had this thought that I know that, not everybody's going to resonate with us or even care about the things that we say. But I think also it's really nice for people to take a look at us and say, they're just like us. There's nothing special about any of us, really. We're all children of God, and we are all the same, and we are all connected. What I love about this particular gathering is that, Shehnaz, with your book, you are teaching people what they can do to better themselves from the inside out, to actually, spiritually and physically feel better. I'm doing it from a physical standpoint, trying to show them that, guess what? All diseases come from an oxidative process. So let me hand you this very potent antioxidant that along with other things is going to help you physically while you're mending spiritually. And Dominician, the way you are approaching this is through use your imagination, focus your energy, and get lost in your own story, type of a situation where you're giving someone a tool and some sort of and I don't want to say like a distraction, but you have interpreted what's going on, in your own unique way. And this is going to resonate with thousands of people. The whole thing about all of us is just getting that exposure. And really that's what it boils down to, because, each one of us has something amazing to offer. So it's just boils right down to lifting each other up and that exposure, because people need the things that we have, and Domination, especially the young people, and the people that you can reach with your stories. So I think I just to wrap it up, I think that this is a great triangle. I love the 369. I love the triangle of this. And I think something really great and powerful can happen. So I'm jacked. I mean, I'm so thankful to be here. That's a mouthful.
Love it.
I love it. Go ahead, Domination.
Yeah. Love it. And how can I present myself after you, Maria? Perfectly said. So
I say a whole lot of nothing sometimes, but
no, that was a whole lot of something. So beautiful, and the symmetry, this beautiful triangle between the three of us is certainly beautiful, and it's certainly perfect in every way, and it makes the most sense to me. So once again, we just need to, the first one through the gate gets the blood nose, he gets whacked, she gets whacked. We just keep going through, okay? We just keep going, because that's what it takes. So we do that first and foremost, and people must know that, yes, the first person does get the blood nose. So just go through, and then after, the punches don't hurt. They're like, they're like massages on the shoulders.
Yes.
So we need to do that. Secondly, we need to understand that there are such greater forces at work at the moment, in which are helping guide us toward, Shehnaz would probably have a lot more to say on this, toward that truth. And it is going in that direction. So I just want people to know we are, very much so caring in the aspect of that love trajectory. So we have to keep going forward, even when it's hard to, and when it's painful. So, that's my message to people, really. It's hard now, but keep going through and be courageous and be valorous, and we will get through this.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. And so I would say that, yeah, I love the fact that, Maria, you are mentioning my favorite thing, Tesla code. And Dominician, I love the fact that you're saying that you are going to get bloody and you're going to get beaten up and it's going to hurt. And that first person who wants to go through that as an example to other, that person has to be even more courageous in their own way physically to be able to handle that. And the thing is that each one of us hold the key in a unique way, right? We all have different gifts. And when we actually compound our gifts, because, teamwork makes the dream work. So that truly is the essence of all of this. And the fact that we're making a triangle, which is the initiation in number 3. Today's 24, which is number 6, right? 6 plus 3 is 9. And so Tesla code is kind of an interesting way for me to just enjoy life, because it just makes it more magical for me. And there are many ways people can make their life magical, whatever they resonate with, right? Whether it's number, whether it's symbol, whether it's the music, whatever it is, truly bring that magic in your life. Because you know what? Yeah, life is tough. Life is hard. And law of attraction and energy management are intertwined with each other, right? How you manage your energy with people who are coming in your sphere of influence, and how they make you feel is a very good way for you to gauge. And you can just do this, yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes. You can just do that. Why not? Because you have that much power. And it's not like you're being mean, or you're just standing up in your power. You're managing your energy, and it really heightens your law of attraction and optimizes it for you to follow where you're calling, follow where you're going, follow your excitement. So I'm actually so grateful that we started this trio. And I know we're going to have more to come, and we're going to have some fun along the way. But for now, we're going to just say that this was great. And I'm so grateful for both of you being here. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Much love to you, ladies. Much love.
All right.